2019 August, classic WoW launch. What a time it was, people all over the world finally could play legally World of Warcraft as it was before the Dark Portal. Some people had the first time seeing Azeroth in her original form, and some elite players who were playing it through on private servers for more than 10 years over and over again. Anyways, beauty of this version of WoW was the leveling experience. Some retail players absolutely hated this part of the game. I myself found it the best. Endgame in classic WoW wasn't really ever my thing. I never was in the mood to grind for hours for gold, so I can buy consumes on a raid I might not even get loot from. But still, the journey to get there to get 60 was my thing. You could spice up leveling in classic WoW though. Many years back people invented the Ironman challenge for extreme WoW players around Cataclysm, but this thing was probably too much for the classic version of the game, because one mob on the same level as you are is almost as powerful as you were, and on Ironman it wasn't only about not dying, but also not wearing any green or better items, no professions, consumes and such. So after classic launch, they came up with the idea of classic hardcore, a game mode where you, well, just simply not die on the classic version of the game, which was not very popular in the beginning, but it got more and more attention over the years, and it even got its own game version now, which was a huge deal. I myself have played on that server, but unfortunately I got skill issued by my internet service provider and my internet connection lost when I threw a knife into a caster mob and 10 minutes later saw that my character was no longer among the living.
Man.
However, you can take classic hardcore on a whole new level. Tainted Hardcore did, for example, by doing the statics challenge. For those who are unfamiliar with this, the no-hit challenge, which he has done twice before on a hunter and a warlock. Well, I did not do that. Instead I was thinking of something what people would call me crazy for, but no hit was already done before. It would not generate as much hype around my name. And well, I looked through all the challenges and my eyes got caught on Bloodbath. The challenge where you do not take a single quest on the entirety of your journey through level 1 to level 60. And so I was looking through all classes and thought this challenge is different on all classes and might be a fun experiment to do, and so I have started it, the No Quest Adventure. I have made my character a Tauren hunter and have started my journey on Azeroth. You might be thinking,
that is so easy, dude. It's one of the fastest level quests. You are no special if you level a hunter.
oh, your average WoW player is so naive. Remember that I play is Bloodbath. I do not complete any quest, which means if you play a hunter, you get level 10. You don't go to your hunter trainer and take the first quest to start the hunter pet quest chain. You just don't. You don't do any quests. Zero exceptions. Without the pet, you can look at your hunter as a Paralympic player who could not get into qualifiers. So we don't have a pet. Therefore the talent tree of the Beastmastery skill tree is completely useless, right? Well, improved aspect of the hawk is damn good and helps you a ton, but there is really nothing much else going on that tree, so before level 10 I thought, maybe we can go a Chad melee build and shred my enemies with a huge stick, polearm or an epic axe. So that's why I chose a Tauren to play. They start with the highest strength in the game, and also I really hate Durotar and Dunmorrow starters, and I kinda did not have the feeling to play Night Elf. And so I stick to a Tauren female hunter. I am not a degenerate, by the way. The first 10 levels were the shortest but felt the longest and weakest. As I said earlier, Taurens do start with the highest strength, also stamina, but they have the lowest starting agility, which made it feel like I was shooting at these huge pigeons with a BB gun invented for kids. Anyways, all hunters fight the same way the first 10 levels. They pull, kite a bit, melee a bit. A lot of times you melee wave, pull more mobs and min-max the melee and range sync timer usage. I did not really bother what kind of mobs did I kill at first. I just roamed around, killing all sorts of animals and quill boars, which made me actually farm only quill boars, since at some of their camps I can open chests and at this cave I can mine copper as well. About the copper, mining all the copper I found was pretty crucial for my leveling. Why? Well, I play hunter, yeah? And I don't do any quests, so that means if there is a very nice gun or bow from a quest, well, I cannot get that. So what do I do? Buy guns from vendors? But what if I can't get a better gun from a vendor for a while? Do I swap from gun to bow to gun all the time? Well, if it's really necessary, yes. But with engineering you're able to craft yourself a mouthful amount of guns throughout leveling the profession. And it became really handy too. As well, I could craft very useful dynamites, grenades, target dummies, crafted bullets, and also one of the most important things for my leveling efficiency, practice logs. Just kidding, it's scopes, which gives flat, low end and no bad damage to your ranged weapon. And the faster your weapon was, the more effective it became, since if a faster weapon gets flat damage on low end and top end, that damage gets added to your DPS a higher amount of times as it would on a slow weapon. So I grinded all kinds of ores throughout leveling and picked leather from chests and such. And so engineering did make my leveling much more pleasant. So, reached level 10, but I'm not able to get a pet for myself, so all of my damage is kinda gone. What should I do? Am I going to go and kite mobs, waste my precious mana on concussive shot, and spend 30 to 40 seconds of precious time to kill each mob for each bit of experience? Oh yeah, I was planning on playing a survival hunter. Wait a second. Melee hunter is not that good. I don't do as much damage as I thought. It's faster to kite and drink after each mob than to spam raptor strike on mobs. But what else should I do? I have no pet to tank the mob, and they come right at me. Hold on, what if I only kill ranged mobs? They stand in one place, casting or shooting with their bows, meanwhile I also do the same, but I outdamage them simply. But where should I farm even? Eventually I could find all these grinding spots, effective or not. To start at level 10, I started to grind the harpies at the west of Thunderbluff. I stayed there until like level 14-ish. And then moved on to the barrens, where I found an extravagant spot of centaurs northwest of the crossroads, where I could kill 2 different types of centaurs, who could also drop Golkar booty keys, where I could open the booty chests for free bags and green items. Such a good grinding spot. Well, 2 of my previous no-quest hunters found their hands on this spot exactly, so be careful. Bro, no man! I spent hours on looking for good locations on Wowhead, testing them out in game. It was painful to know the good spots, but eventually I found them all, so after I was done with the centaurs, I headed to Stone Tunnel Mountains, and at the Ventur location, I started to kill the humanoids all over the place, since it was mostly 2 types of mobs. One that threw knives, and one that casts huge fireballs of death at you. But I never died here. It was somewhat chill to level here even, and during the time I was leveling here, I have received the news of the EU server of Stitches got DDoSed in the morning. I was grinding on my hunter, which I loved about, because I was not playing on the hardcore servers, I was playing on the old Hydroxian Waterlords RP server on Classic Era. Because there was simply no mob competition over there, and I was leveling only for the challenge, not the end game. So I have grinded my brains out on this location, and again I had no idea where to grind. I was randomly killing those lightning codos in the middle of the barrens, since their cast is really weak, so I just killed them. And it wasn't super effective, unfortunately. Then did some traveling through the zones again and found a grinding spot with a few chest spawns in 1000 needles. And unfortunately some melee mobs and some others who could self-heal. And hunters did not have an interrupt all the way to level 60. I still had my war stump to interrupt some of those casts, but I couldn't find a better spot at the time, so I had to stay here until I was high level enough to continue my journey to hillsbrad foothills. Before we go, I want you all to see one of my close calls at this grinding spot. Hold on. Is this the end? No, it's not. It's not. Here in the foothills I found a spot of humanoid mobs of two types, a naga who throws javelins at you and one that casts lightning bolts at you. The casters dealt huge damage to me with their bolts and shadow word pains, but I was killing these mobs fairly fast, and also I had the opportunity to kill a rare mob a few times for juicy loot. I still had close calls at this spot. Oh my god, of course, aspect is bad. Okay, 3 seconds.
Dude, that was close. This dude
Okay,
is a fucking legend.
But level 34, we got it. By this time I have found several blues on my journey, though when I find them, you can see that I cannot be impressed by the color blue. As usual, I outgrinded this spot and had to head to a new spot, and the next location was an interesting one because no one in their right mind would think and go here to grind, since this spot is incredibly terrible to farm gold. I went to Arati Basin and we have a few spots here where you can grind the charms for the World Index quest as a warrior. I grinded the fire elementals a bit because I needed a few elemental fire for my new gun from engineering. After I was done, I headed to farm the air elementals a bit to the east of Refugee Point, the alliance base of the zone. The mob drops were absolutely terrible from them. I still got a few greens from them and blue items too. I stayed on this spot until I reached level 40. Then I had to think again where to now. Since I was level 40, I could buy myself a mount, so I simply did that and had a short moment to think about my next spot. Then I thought, what did I farm for gold in 2019 Classic? And then I realized I was farming whelplings in Badlands for small flame sacks, which were useful for dragon breath chili recipe and also fire protection potions. Those little whelps in Badlands were around level 41 to 43, were all ranged and low armor, so it was a perfect spot to grind. As well, since we're at the Badlands whelp spot, I think you all should see what happened on my clip at the start of the video. Holy shit, oh my god. I stayed here for 9 whole levels. 9 whole levels. I couldn't find a better spot than this for the entire 40s of my character. It's just so messed up to find a spot to grind only ranged mobs, where your character's death ends all the grind I have been doing. During this grind I also have killed some big rare mobs, for example Zarikotl, a level 55 big bird rare that drops green items around level 49 to 51, so each time the mob was up I guided them to the horde base so I could kill it with a bit of assist. Probably or something. 1.60k XP, was that full? I have been grinding rares. I checked out other zones for rares too, namely Blasted Lands, Winter Spring, Fellwood, and I could acquire a bit of gear from all the mobs. As well from fishing. Fishing was a big part of gearing up my hunter. I could acquire leather for engineering pretty easy from proxies, also random gear. Even before farming the webs, and also sometimes during the farm, I went to Tenerife, and on the eastern coast I was fishing up all the fishing nodes I could find. And I could get some amazing gear from the boxes I caught, not even only for my level, but for future levels as well. It was a great gold farm too, since I was doing solo self-found that I couldn't trade or use the auction house, so the gold I made was purely looting gold from mobs and selling the items I found myself. Anyways, I was level 49 with my hunter and I was absolutely clueless where to start grind the last few levels. I literally couldn't find a single spot where there were literally only ranged mobs, only mixed spots. One spot that was actually decent was a mixed spot, but I couldn't find anything else, so I went there. It was the Bloodbath camp in Ashara. These mobs were all humanoids, so I got both a lot of gold from looting them, As well, I wanted to make Horde a favor and kill all blood elves before they become a playable race of the Horde. These mobs also had very little armor, with which I could absolutely destroy them with my hunter's damage. Unfortunately, they still did a few heals and had surprisingly high amount of damage output. Not to talk about their high aggro range. Out of the two types of blood elves, one of them is melee, so they start rushing at you, and that's why I had to start melee weaving again, using wing clip to root them sometimes in their place. This grinding spot was also the only grinding spot where I found an epic, and this is the best epic I could find as a hunter. What the fuck? I stayed here from level 49 to level 59 and 99.9% XP. The mobs gave me so little experience by level 59 it felt horribly slow. As I reached 99.9% XP, I stopped farming and headed straight to the Badlands, since I wanted to make my level 60 thing a bit more special. Zerikotul was up at the time and everything was set. I pulled the bird, started blessing my all-time favorite Gachimuchi song and kept hyping up the kill. The song was a bit mismatched, but the kill did happen and I reached level 60 on my no-quest hunter with 0 pet, 0 mobtaggers and all solo self-found. I started this all in September of 2023 and finished in November in the same year. It did not feel that long if I look at it like that, to be honest. My slash played was 279 hours. I expected a bit less, but this was probably one of the harder classes to do no quest with. So all of this was done. Got a few viewers to join in. I was very happy they chose to watch my stream during the thing. How could you do all this? How do you not get bored? Do you not have anything better to do? Why? How? What's the purpose? Well, what's the purpose of anything? Just kidding, I'm not going to be a Greek philosopher about all this. I just had randomly popped this thing into my head and was like, well, why not? Well, why is actually a good question in this. All this grinding on this character tested my patience pretty much, and made me very calm during the process, except for the times I got almost killed. As well, I'm a struggling small Twitch streamer who just simply can't find a normal way to success on this platform. I have tried a lot with networking, being talkative and such, but people come and go. I'm not a girl streamer with large boobs, I can't afford giveaways on every stream. So well, I just do these extraordinary challenges to get noticed, and it worked more or less. I don't know if you noticed when I said, but I said these extraordinary challenges. Yes, challenges, in plural form. Because this hunter was not my first no-quest character. Because in 2023 March I have done this exact same thing with Paladin. I did level a no-quest character before the exact same reason, clout. The Paladin worked much better in this case because I gained much more followers and had more viewers. I reached around 56 viewers on my level 60 thing on the Paladin. On my hunter I got like maybe 14 viewers, which I am still happy for since I know people do care. And so that was the journey of my hunter. Hope the video has entertained you long enough to sit out till the end of my entire video. I really appreciate you being here. There is one more thing I need to share. That is, I am doing a third no-quest character at the time of editing this video. It is a Night Elf Rogue and I am currently level 55 on it. I chose Rogue because this is a quiet fast leveler actually, and for some reason I felt the insanity crawling back to me to level one more no-quest character. If you are still here, feel free to check out my Twitch channel, drop a follow as well. I appreciate a like and subscribe below my video. And heck, maybe if you go to my Twitch right now, you might even catch me live. Thank you all for watching.